for now to establish the Nigerian Police University of Science and Technology, Erinja, Ogun State, and to make comprehensive provisions for its due management and administration, and for other related matters. 2023 second reading taken. The bill is therefore referred to the Committee on Police Affairs to report within 4 weeks.
I represent Imo West. I rise to lead the debate on a bill for an act to repeal the National Insurance Commission Act 1997 and to enact the Insurance Regulatory Commission Bill 2025 and for other matters connected therewith. This bill is being sponsored by Senator Adetokunbo Abiru, my humble self, Senator Steve Nassau, and others. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, it is my pleasure and delight.
Senator Ozina, so please try to summarize. It's very bulky.
I will do that.
Let's go to the recommendation.
I will soon go to the recommendation. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, it's my pleasure and delight to lead the debate on the general principle of this bill to repeal the Nigeria National Insurance Commission Act and to enact the Insurance Regulatory Commission Bill 2025 and for other matters connected thereto. Mr. President, I would like to go straight to the conclusion. On a general note, this bill seeks to create a more effective, robust, and efficient regulatory framework for Nigerians' insurance policy that will meet the challenges posed by technology, information flow, trans-border movement of goods, services, and people. The bill also tends to promote financial stability, economic growth, consumer protection, and competitiveness. The NICOM Act of 1997 has served its purpose, and it is no longer sufficient to properly empower the Commission to effectively regulate Nigerians' rapidly evolving insurance industry. To address its deficiencies and align with current realities, a comprehensive review is required. Hence, the proposal for the repeal and enactment of the bill. By doing so, Nigerians can establish a modern, robust, and well-regulated insurance market that will foster growth, protect consumers, and enhance the overall stability of the industry. I therefore appeal for your support for the passage of this bill. Mr. President, my distinguished colleagues, this bill has no financial implication and no compendium is attached as required by Order 76 sub 3 of our standing orders 2023 as amended. Thank you very much for your kind attention.
In view of the fact that this is second reading and the lead debate is very clear, is there anybody against this bill? Those in favor that the bill be read second time, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
Hello there.
A bill for an act to repeal the National Insurance Commission and to enact the Insurance Regulatory Commission 2025 and for other matters connected therein 2025 second reading taken. The bill is referred to the Committee on Banking, Insurance, and other financial institutions to report back within 4 weeks.
Mr. President, I want to seek your indulgence that the Senate do receive and consider the report of the Committee of Ethics, Code of Conduct, and Public Petitions on the confirmation of the nomination of Honorable Ibrahim Zakari Sarina for appointment as member of the Public Complaints Commission. If it pleases, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, may I lead this report.
Report of the Committee on Ethics, Code of Conduct, and Public Petitions on the screening of Honorable Ibrahim Zakari Sarina for appointment as a member of the Public Complaints Commission, PCC, and approved the nomination. Is this a true reflection of what transpired in the Committee of the Whole? Confirmation. Will the Senate confirm the nomination of Honorable Ibrahim Zakari Sarina for appointment as a member of the Public Complaint Commission? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The nomination of Honorable Ibrahim Zakar Sarina is hereby confirmed as member of the Public Complaint Commission, PCC. Leader of the Senate. Well, let me congratulate him in this new office. We wish him good luck, and we wish him the best of time as a member, as a commissioner of this respected commission. The Senate Leader. Senate Leader.
Mr. President, the report of the Committee of Ethics, Privileges and Public Petition of Honorable Barrister Amechi Nwoha, Commissioner Southeast Zone, against the National Assembly Service Commission over an alleged appointment of 2 new commissioners from the zone in 2025 when his tenure as a commissioner from the same zone had not elapsed. With your permission, Mr. President, may I step forward to present this report. The presentation made by Honorable Amechi Nwoha, the following observations were made. 1, that the National Assembly Service Commission comprised the chairman and 12 members with 2 from each of the 6 geopolitical zones of the country in accordance with the federal character as enshrined in the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1919 as amended, and also as provided in the National Service Commission Act. 2, that during the nomination and inauguration of the chairman and members of the NAS on 7 February 2020, 2026, 2020 and 26 February 2020, respectively, 2 Southeast candidates were nominated for screening, but one of them did not accept his nomination and thereby did not show up for screening. 3, that a vacant position created by this decline was from Imo State, and it lasted for almost 2 years before Honorable Barrister Amechi Nwoha was appointed to fill it as a commissioner of NAS, National Assembly Service Commission, representing Imo Abia in the commission with effect from 15 October 2021 for a 5-year term. 4, that the prayer of the petitioner, Honorable Barrister Amechi Nwoha, to allow him to stay in the office up to 14th October 2026, according to his letter of appointment, and also not to exit alongside his colleagues, commissioner from other states, will amount to unlawful elongation of the statutory tenure office of commissioners in the National Assembly Service Commission. 5, that the vacant position of the commissioner filled by Honorable Barrister Nwoha with a 5-year tenure cannot supersede the duration of appointment of a 5-year term started by the appointment of the nominee that declined this position, and therefore the exit date of the petitioner should be the same date of his colleagues, commissioners, in the 5th National Assembly Commission exit date from office. 6, that Mr. Nnena Uzokalu from Abia State, nominated recently as commissioner for Imo Abia in National Assembly Service Commission for 5 years tenure of the 6th Commission of National Assembly Service Commission, but his screening was stepped down by the Senate now to be allowed to screen by Committee on Establishment for the confirmation of the Senate. Our recommendation, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, that in view of the findings, the committee recommends that the Senate do uphold the nomination of Mr. Nnena Uzokalu as Commissioner Southeast in the National Assembly Service Commission, and also approve his screening by the Senate Committee on Establishment by the confirmation by the Senate. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, on behalf of the committee, I express my appreciation to the Senate President and the entire Senate for the opportunity given to us to serve. Thank you, Mr. President.
That the Senate do uphold the nomination of Mr. Nnena Uzokalu as Commissioner Service in the National Assembly Service Commission, and also approve the screening of the Senate Committee on Establishment for the confirmation by the Senate. Please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
on Federal University of Medical and Health Sciences, ITEM, Bende, Establishment Bill 2025, HB 25. Federal College of Education, Bende, Establishment Bill 2025, HB 125, and Nigerian Forest Security Service Bill 2024, HB 90. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, permit me to lead debate on these important bills from House of Representatives for concurrence of this chamber. Federal University of Medical and Health Sciences, ITEM, Bende, Establishment Bill 2025 was read for the first time today, Thursday, 27 March 2025. This bill seeks to establish Federal University of Medical and Health Sciences, Bende, in Abia State. 2. Federal College of Education, Bende, Establishment Bill 2025, HB 125, was read for the first time today, Thursday, 27 March 2025. This bill seeks to provide for the establishment of Federal College of Education, Bende, as an institute to offer full-time courses leading to the award of National Certificate of Education, diplomas, etc. 3. Nigerian Forest Security Services Bill 2024, HB 90, was read for the first time on Tuesday, 30th April 2024. This bill seeks to establish Nigerian Forest Security Service for the prevention and combating of crimes in Nigerian forests and other related activities of the service within Nigerian forests. Mr. President, my respected colleagues, these bills are straightforward and have gone through the necessary legislative process in the House of Representatives. I therefore urge you all to support the second reading of this bill as we refer them to Committee of Whole for clause-by-clause consideration. Thank you.
Required for concurrence, and in the spirit of reciprocity, I urge my colleagues and the Senate to consider these bills appropriately. I submit, Mr. President.
Okay. Leader of the Senate, you may wish to move that we go into. Okay, it's for second reading. Okay. The clerk of the Senate, ITEM Bende, Abia State, to make comprehensive provisions for due management and administration and for related matters 2025, HB 25, second reading taken. Distinguished colleagues, a bill for an act to establish the Federal College of Education, Bende, to provide full-time courses, teaching, instruction, and training in technology, applied sciences and commerce, arts, social sciences, humanities, and management to carry out research in the development and adaptation of techniques and make provisions for the appointment of a provost and the officials of the college and for related matters 2025, HB 125, second reading taken. Distinguished colleagues, a bill for an act to establish the Nigerian Forest Security Service, NFSS, to prevent and combat forest crimes and enhance security within Nigerian forests and for related matters 2025, HB 90, second reading taken. These bills are now committed to the Committee of the Whole for immediate consideration. Out to represent us in a few minutes, just to announce the passing on to glory of Hajia Safaro Omar Rada, the mother of the governor of Katsina State, Dr. Diko Omar Rada, who happens to be one of the very fine APC governors in Nigeria. We want to, on behalf of the Senate, condole with the governor, condole with the good people of Katsina State over the unfortunate demise of his dear mother, and I urge the Senate, utilizing Senate Rule 1B, to indulge me and rise to observe a minute's silence in honor of this great woman, the mother of our dear governor in Katsina State. May we rise. May the soul of Hajja Safaru Omar Rada find repose in Fida Aman. Amen. Distinguished colleagues, the Senate in the Committee of the Whole considered the Federal University of Medical and Health Sciences Itembende Establishment Bill 2025 and approved as follows. Long title as recommended. Number of clauses 1 to 27 as recommended. Interpretation clause on page 28, clause 28 as recommended. Short title 29 as recommended. Schedules 1 to 2 as recommended. Explanatory memorandum as recommended. It is a true reflection of what transpired in the Committee of the Whole. Distinguished colleagues, the Senate in the Committee of the Whole further considered the Federal College of Education Bende Establishment Bill 2025 and approved as follows. Long title as recommended. Number of clauses 1 to 21 as recommended. Interpretation clause 22 as recommended. Short title in clause 23 as recommended. Schedule 1 as recommended. Explanatory memorandum as recommended. Is this a true reflection of what transpired in the Committee of the Whole? Distinguished colleagues, the Senate further in the Committee of the Whole considered the Nigerian Forest Security Service Bill 2025 and approved as follows. Long title as recommended. Number of clauses 1 to 27 as recommended. Interpretation clause 28 as recommended. Short title clause 29 as recommended. Schedule 1 as recommended. Explanatory memorandum as recommended. Is this a true reflection of what transpired in the Committee of the Whole? Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, I stand to move a motion that the bill is now read the third time.
The Minority Leader.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I support the motion that the bills be read the third time. I so second.
Distinguished colleagues, the leader has moved a motion and seconded by the Minority Leader that these bills be now read for the third time. Those in support that the three bills be read the third time say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Distinguished colleagues, a bill for an act to establish the Federal University of Medical and Health Sciences, Bende, to make comprehensive provisions for due management and administration and for related matters 2025, third reading taken. Distinguished colleagues, a bill for an act to establish the Federal University of Medical Sciences, of Medical and Health Sciences, Bende, to make comprehensive provisions for due management and administration and for related matters 2025, HB 25, third reading taken and passed. Distinguished colleagues, a bill for an act to establish the Federal College of Education, Bende, to provide full-time courses, teaching, instruction, and training in technology, applied sciences, commerce, arts, social sciences, humanities, and management to carry out research in the development and adaptation of techniques and make provisions for the appointment of a provost and the officials of the college and for related matters 2025, SB 125, third reading taken. Distinguished colleagues, a bill for an act to establish the Federal College of Education Bende to provide full-time courses, teaching, instruction, and training in technology, applied sciences, commerce, arts, social sciences, humanities, and management to carry out research in the development and adaptation of techniques and make provisions for the appointment of a provost and the officials of the college and for related matters 2025, third reading taken and passed. Distinguished colleagues, a bill for an act to establish the Nigerian Forest Security Service, NFSS, to prevent and combat forest crimes and enhance security within Nigerian forests and for related matters 2025, HB 90, third reading taken. Distinguished colleagues, a bill for an act to establish the Nigerian Forest Security Service, NFSS, to prevent and combat forest crimes and enhance security within Nigerian forests and for related matters 2025, HB 90, third reading taken and passed. Let me thank all distinguished senators for sparing their time to go through these bills, which were for concurrence. Okay. More bills. I will. And to congratulate the good people of Bende and congratulate Nigerians of the NFSS, the Nigerian Forest Security Guards. I hope that this will further add to a reduction of crime in the country. And then, of course, the opening doors to education all over the country simply means closing more doors of prisons and enhancing opportunities for over 2 million children who are not able to gain admission on a yearly basis to the existing tertiary institutions in the country. We will one day get to that point where every child is accommodated whenever and wherever that child is. I congratulate all, and I pray that the President will assent to these bills to give the bills life and also add to the lofty ideals and achievements of the current administration in renewing hope in the educational sector and then the security of the nation for the benefit of all. I thank you all.
Today, I stand to move a motion to urge the federal government to halt the sale of Lafarge Cement PLC to Chinese investors in the national interest. Mr. President, if I have your permission, I will proceed with the motion.
Yes, proceed.
The Senate notes that Lafarge Cement PLC, one of Nigeria's foremost cement manufacturing companies, plays a critical role in the construction and industrial sectors, contributing significantly to the country's economic growth and development. Also note that the company is located in a Wikoro local government of Ogun State, an area adjudged to be one of Nigeria's largest deposits of limestone as an essential raw materials in cement production. Further note that Lafarge Cement PLC has been a key player in job creation, infrastructure development, and industrial expansion within Nigeria, making it a critical national asset. Observe that there are ongoing plans for divestment of the company, reportedly involving Chinese investors, which has raised concerns about the potential for foreign dominance over such a strategic sector in the Nigerian economy. Also observe that Holy City AG is set to sell its 83.8% stake in Lafarge Africa to Chinese cement maker Huaxin Cement Company in a deal that values Lafarge Africa at $1 billion, a deal which is said to be finalized in 2025 subject to regulatory approval. Aware that the cement manufacturing industry is a critical sector directly linked to national security, due to its significance in infrastructure development, including construction of roads, bridges, housing, and other vital public works. Also aware that the dominance of foreign ownership in such a sensitive sector poses risks to Nigeria's economic sovereignty and national security interests. Further aware that several local investors and stakeholders have expressed interest in participating in the divestment process, but they have raised concerns about transparency and their limited access to equitable shares. Concern that about the long-term economic implications of foreign-dominated ownership of Lafarge Cement PLC, including capital flight, job losses, and potential challenges to regulating the activities of foreign-owned entities in the strategic sector. We are also concerned that Nigeria has seen increasing foreign acquisition of key industries, raising fears of excessive reliance on external entities for critical components of national development. Further concerned that allowing foreign investors to dominate such a vital sector without significant local participation undermines Nigeria's efforts to build a self-reliant economy. Recalls that Section 16 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999 as amended, emphasizes the need to ensure that the economic system does not result in the concentration of wealth or means of production in the hands of a few individuals or foreign entities. And also recall that the federal government, through its policies, has consistently promoted the empowerment of local investors to stimulate domestic economic growth and industrialization, accordingly resolves to urge the federal government to immediately intervene in the ongoing sale of Lafarge Cement PLC and ensure that the divestment process prioritizes national security and economic sovereignty of Nigeria. Also urge the federal government to halt any agreement that will result in the sale of the majority or controlling shares of Lafarge Cement PLC to foreign investors, particularly Chinese entities, until a thorough national security assessment is conducted. Call on the relevant authorities, including the Bureau of Public Enterprises and the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission, to ensure that the divestment process is transparent and allows for equitable participation by Nigerian investors and stakeholders. Encourage the federal government to develop a framework that ensures local investors hold a reasonable percentage in the ownership of strategic industry, including but not limited to Lafarge Cement PLC. And finally, mandate the Committee on Capital Markets to engage with stakeholders, including Lafarge Cement PLC, the Federal Ministry of Trade and Investment, and other relevant agencies to ensure compliance with these resolutions and report back to the Senate within stipulated time. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I urge you to support this motion. I so move.
I want to thank the prime mover of this all-important motion. And the prayer said it all. And what we are asking for, as you're all aware in the body of the motion, this is one company that has been in existence over 50 years. This is one of the biggest cement company in Nigeria and in the sub-Saharan Africa. This is one company that, one way or the other, has impacted the Nigerian economy through various involvement in various sectors of the Nigerian economy. Mr. President, the company is about to be divested, and the transaction has been shrouded in secrecy. We are asking, and what the motion is simply asking for, we want this transaction to be as transparent as possible, where Nigerian investors and stakeholders can be given equal level of participation in the sale of this all-important company. Mr. President, and we are seeking the leave of the Senate to get involved to the extent of mandating our various committees in the Senate, which include Committee on Capital Markets and also Security and Exchange Commission, the Committee on Trade and Investment, to look into this transaction and to look into this transaction so as to ensure that all that is needed to be done to the level that any Nigerian who is capable and who is also interested can be given a level playing field, so that by the time the eventual sale of this company is done, we will be fully satisfied that it has been done with much level of transparency, much level of cooperation, and to the extent that Nigeria's economy will be protected, to the extent in as not ensuring that another foreign investor is taking away one of our long-standing birthright in Lafarge company. Mr. President, distinguished colleague, I urge this Senate to submit to support this position so that we can allow our standing committee to work closely with the Federal Government Committee on Consumer Protection Council, so that at the end of the day, we can have a report that is all-inclusive and transparent to the extent of the direct investment of $1 billion in Lafarge company. Mr. President, distinguished colleague, I so submit.
This motion on the sales of company is, we must be guided, whether we are in tandem with the submissions made, we have to be guided as a Senate. We cannot convert the Senate to a sales company or bureau of public enterprise. The laws of Nigeria are very clear. Agencies of government have been established by laws, and one of which is Bureau of Public Enterprise. And we cannot sit at the Senate to judge them as being unfair or transparent in commercial transactions. So, Mr. Senate President, I do think that there should also be right of egress, right to enter into contract freely, and right to leave contracts at will. The Senate should not be an impediment to a free-flow democratic sales of any company in Nigeria. The Senate should converge to see the sanctity of contracts, not to be an impediment to the contract or be the sales agent. Our committee have no business whatsoever. When a company wants to divest, it can divest freely, but the issue of transparency of government shares, can be captured by our oversight function. But individuals selling have anything to do with the Senate. It's on this ground, Mr. President, that I want to say very clearly that we must be very, because I'm from the private sector, and I have a lot of experience in sales and buying of government assets, and I know the consequences that come with it, particularly in a nation that converges itself without free flow of economy. So my summary, Mr. State President, is that there must be a right of free sales, and the Senate cannot be an impediment to government transactions. So there is a Bureau of Public Enterprise that is established by law who anchor with responsibility of selling government assets. So this Senate cannot be the selling agent of government assets, but we can capture the oversight function where it's reported to us that the transaction is not transparent or have some impediments. I urge your presidency to ensure that the Senate does not sit as selling agents or looking at transactions here and there, looking for nothing. This thing has not been sold. Wait until it's sold, and then let the agency of government responsible in the executive arm of the government be the one to do their transaction. We are not transactional Senate. This is not a transactional Senate, Mr. President. This is a law-making Senate. And the integrity of the Senate is very high now within Nigerians. We are not here to begin to conduct sales transaction on company basis. I so submit, Mr. President. Thank you very much.
But the body of the motion already worried me, where they said that the supposed intended sale is shrouded in secrecy. So if it is shrouded in secrecy, how did we manage to find out? Did we use witchcraft? So that is the aspect I would like the mover of the motion to explain. If it's shrouded in secrecy, how did you know about it? Because if it is in a law court, they will say that the matter is not yet due for adjudication. That's what I'm saying. You're not hearing me. I'm saying that as far as we are concerned, there is no sir. And so if the intention is shrouded in secrecy, it means that the matter is not yet due for discussion by the Senate. However, let me hear from Senator Karimi. Since it's shrouded in secrecy, I want you to explain, how did you get to know?
Okay, thank you, Mr. President. I represent the people of Kogi West. Mr. President, I want to believe that OZIM AG is a private group, enterprise, and they own 83.3% stake in that company. While Odua Group has less than 17%. The person that has 83.3% stake, sir, wants to sell his shares. And he has the right to sell his shares to whomsoever. If you want to buy it, you put yourself together on Odua Group and go and look for money. You cannot use government fiat to take over somebody's shares. That would be wrong. Business has to be transparent. A private concern wants to sell his shares, and you are bringing government law. You want to take over his share. Go back to your people, look for funds, raise money, and go and buy it. That is the simple truth, sir. You can, all this your prayer here cannot stand. It cannot stand. Government, you are just trying to use government to take over somebody's business. That is wrong. And this Senate will not allow that. Thank you, sir.
I rise to align my position with the Professor of War on this matter. Distinguished colleagues, as the last speaker, the last distinguished senator has stated, this company is a public company listed on the Nigerian Stock Exchange with shareholders. It is a company that has changed form over the years. At one point, this company was known as WAPCO, West African Cement, Portland Cement Company. So, and it has changed co-ownership. And companies will continue to evolve. And as investors reassess their standing in the companies, they will decide to exit. And they will find some other co-investor that will take over their own ownership. The motion has stated that the current co-investor is a foreign company, and the proposed new investor that is going to take over is another foreign company. So it is one foreign company taking over from another foreign company. What I don't want us to do is to give the impression that foreign investors, when they come with foreign direct investment, that when they want to exit, we can put impediments on their path. So, Mr. President, I want us to be cautious about this and not give the very wrong impression that we are hampering foreign investment. Thank you, sir.
Look at your rules. You'll see that a senator cannot contribute twice to the discussion and issue. A senator cannot contribute twice. So if you had something to educate us, you should have done so when you had the opportunity. Otherwise, you do so in Yewa. Yes, the sponsor can respond. Yes. Yes? By our rules, you can put some lights.
Thank you, Mr. President and distinguished colleagues. And I think that if you miscarried to even determine who should buy the shares. The second point we also want to make, Ogun State is industrial capital for a reason, meaning that the environments have been conducive enough for investors to come simply because the environment has not presented any hurdles. However, let's put it this way. There are certain areas of our national life that are considered to be strategic, and that's why we have the local content law as an example. We do not say, as an example, that anybody can come into oil and gas, buy shares, and move on. We said there should be some local content. As it's applicable to oil, it's also applicable to solid minerals. Particularly at a time the federal government is looking at some other forms of diversification of the economy, and they are looking in the right of solid minerals. We are not saying the company cannot divest, no. We're not even trying to determine for them who they sell to, no. We are not intervening in what the sales price of the share should be, no. What we are saying, and that's why it's important to listen carefully, Senator Karimi, what we are saying is that the process for that transfer should be equitable enough to allow local investors who also want to invest. Senator, I have the floor. We're saying this mineral that has been exploited is in Ogun State. And there are local investors who are saying you cannot just come and explore our solid minerals the same way you cannot just explore oil and gas and simply say you are transferring. There's some principle of local content that's applicable here. Once the process is transparent, we do not care who buys, but let the opportunity exist for those who suffer the immediate degradation of the environment to say, if you are exiting, we provided you the environment. This company over the years had been an investment outlet of Odua, which is for the entire Southwest. If you are divesting, and the local investor who say, we want to buy, let the process be equitable and transparent enough. If they fail in their bid, as long as the process is transparent, we are okay with it. That is what I think I wanted to make.
I'm not against divestment. You are only insisting on transparency. So we can look at the prayer and very quickly come to conclusion. Prayer 1, urge the federal government to immediately intervene in the ongoing sale of Lafarge Cement PLC and ensure that the divestment process prioritizes national security and economic sovereignty. Amendment, yes, Senator Izunaso.
That prayer should read, the amendment should be, urge the Bureau of Public Enterprise and Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, to immediately intervene in the ongoing sale of Lafarge Cement PLC and ensure that the divestment process prioritizes national security and economic sovereignty. I so move, Mr. President.
Thank you. Distinguished colleagues, prayer 1 is amended to say, urge the Bureau of Public Enterprises in collaboration with Securities and Exchange Commission to immediately intervene and look into this proposal to ensure that the processes therein are transparent and also prioritizes national and economic security and sovereignty of the nation. Those in support of the prayer as amended say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Secretariat, I hope you got the amendment very well. In fact, I think that should even be the only prayer. That should suffice. So, distinguished colleagues, we can now overlook prayer 2 to 5. Those in support that we overlook prayer 2 to 5 say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
Additional prayer, Mr. President.
Yes.
Additional prayer.
Because, distinguished colleagues, what you have just done is to say, if you want to sell, we do not mind, but open the process so that others can partake and take care of local content and external regulations, and also be sure that the process is transparent and then prioritizes national security and also looks at national interest, and outside that also the sovereignty of the nation is not compromised.
Additional prayer, sir.
If there's any additional prayer, go ahead.
Yes, I totally agree with the amendment that just only one additional prayer. We can expunge the other prayers. Because because we have a particular instance at under consideration, mandate the Senate Committee on Capital Market to engage with stakeholders, including the SEC and the Bureau of Public Enterprises, to ensure that the process complies with the resolution number 1 above, meaning that the Committee on Capital Market should be given the responsibility to ensure the compliance with this resolution, so that the resolution is not in vain. I so move.
Any seconder? So the additional prayer has been moved that we should immediately urge the Senate Committee on Capital Market to liaise with Bureau of Public Enterprises, the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission, and other agencies to ensure that the divestment process is truly transparent and equitable and meets the extant regulations and also meets local content law to ensure participation by Nigerians and other stakeholders. Those in support of this very strong additional prayer say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. So I think I want to thank the mover of this motion. That is very clear now that you were thinking of the national interest when you brought this motion. And I'm happy. Otherwise, even in America, America cannot just wake up one day and sell a major national asset to just any country, irrespective of the amount involved, because it can impinge on their security. So this is very important, so that somebody will not buy our facilities and use it to manufacture things outside what they intended. So the process must be transparent, and particularly where there are local investors who are interested in the divestment, they should also be given the opportunity. They should not be shrouded in secrecy, and they should not be shut out. And national interest should take uppermost in all decisions of divestment in this country. We so submit. Those in support of what I've just said say aye, and those against say nay. The ayes have it. So let me thank my distinguished colleagues, and now may I now announce that the Senate will adjourn and reconvene by 4 p.m. to enable us to take the votes and proceedings of the first session of today's sitting. But before then, I want to say that Mr. President has granted assent to bills transmitted to him by the National Assembly. And these bills, is important, you know, Nigeria Anti-Doping Act 2025 has been assented to by the President on the 21st day of March 2025. The Southwest Development Commission earlier said Establishment Bill Act 2025 has been assented to on the 24th day of March 2025. The South-South Development Commission Establishment Act 2025 has been assented to by Mr. President on the 24th day of March 2025. The Federal University of Applied Sciences Cashier Establishment Act 2025 has been assented to by Mr. President. This happened on the 20th day of February 2025. The Agricultural Research Council of Nigeria Amendment Act 2025 has been assented to by Mr. President on the 20th day of February 2025. The Federal University of Technology and Environmental Sciences Inyekiti Establishment Act 2025 has been assented to by Mr. President on the 20th day of February 2025. The Federal University of Agriculture and Development Studies Iragbiji Establishment Act 2025 has been assented to by Mr. President on the 20th day of February 2025. The information to distinguished senators is good for your record, to know that you are not just wasting your time here, and that through legislation, you are actually changing the future of this country and renewing the hope of all Nigerians in the governance of this country. I thank you all. 4 p.m. Distinguished colleagues, having spent quality time in the execution of our duties and while we were elected into the upper chambers of the National Assembly today, I want to thank all of you for painstakingly going through the rituals of lawmaking, and thank Mr. President for assenting to almost all the bills that were passed here, which are in the national interest, and particularly thank him for creating the layer of the regional development commissions in order to bring development closer to the regions and the grassroots of the country. May Almighty Allah use this period to bless him, strengthen him, and grant him more wisdom to provide the necessary infrastructure for Nigeria. I congratulate all those that work in those commissions. I congratulate the students who are gaining from the Students' Loan Scheme. I congratulate all the industries and parastatals that are being created for the purpose of bringing development to the grassroots. And I urge you, as you go to spend your Salah and your Easter, may Almighty Allah grant you safe journey, prosper your family, and keep you safe from harm. So happy Easter Salah in advance. And for those of us about to observe the Easter celebrations after the Lenten period, happy Easter celebrations in advance, and may the blessings of God not depart from us. May He remain with us and bring us all back safely without accident. Can we shout a louder amen? Amen. Accordingly, the Senate is hereby adjourned, and going back after the Easter, we decided to just do it at once so that when we come back, we face serious business. So we should actually return on the 29th. This is, again, another chamber reciprocity, because the House of Reps has already done so. So we may wish to move the motion in line with the directives. The leader has moved a motion, seconded by the minority leader, that this August Assembly do adjourn plenary whilst undertaking oversight functions. The plenary session should be adjourned to the 29th day of April 2025, but in between, we should observe the Salah celebrations and the Easter celebrations, and then undertake and continue with our oversight functions, which is also another core mandate of the legislature, but to commence plenaries on the 29th day of April 2025. Those in support of the motion as moved and seconded, say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Plenary is hereby adjourned to 29th day of April 2025.
Please.